Hi everyone, it's Rylan. It's Wednesday, September 20th, 2017 at 6:09 p.m. And okay, for those of you that don't know me, hello. And if you're a follower, hello again. I wanted to make a video of an update of not being on T for 4 months. I'll just give a quick background for those of you that don't follow my YouTube channel. Basically, I identified as FTM for about 3 years. I was medically transitioning on testosterone for almost 2 years. I started T on July 9th, 2015 and stopped taking T on April 25th, 2017. And I've also had top surgery. Since then, I realized that my gender identity is more complex than just being able to fit solely in the box of identifying as male, and I now fully embrace and identify as gender fluid. I have a whole video on the reasons why I stopped taking T. I will put it in the link below. I don't want to get into all the details because that's literally a video on its own that I have already made and like 600 people have viewed, and no. So, first of all, I would just like to state that I do not view what I am doing by stopping taking T as detransitioning. That is not a word that I use to describe my gender journey. It just doesn't fit. If other people want to say that they detransitioned by discontinuing taking hormones, go for it, but that's not, I don't like that, because I'm not D anything. I am still me. I still partly identify as male. I just didn't want to take hormones anymore. That doesn't make my identity more or less valid. You know what I mean? So, clarification. But I wanted to talk about the changes that I've experienced since being off of T for 4 months. Because I don't think I've made a video at all about the changes. And I think this is very like mysterious, like no one talks about like what changes. So here I am. Let's go. Let's get into it. The main change that I have realized, there's like a couple really big ones, I suppose, but the number one change that is like awkward to talk about, but I'm going to because education, is my sex drive. That is probably the biggest change and the most drastic thing that I've noticed since stopping. For anyone that is on T, you know that your sex drive changes drastically when you're on it, that you just turn into a monster, basically. And I want to say within like a week or a couple weeks of being off of T that I noticed that my sex drive kind of like disintegrated, I guess, and basically was like kind of non-existent. Which is funny because that was like the first change that I noticed when I started T, is that I was just like, you know, I was all about it all the time. And that's not the case anymore. So I find that very interesting. Second, the biggest change that I noticed, which again, I also noticed right when I started T, and another change that I realized after stopping it, was my face is not as oily as it was. I don't break out like I used to. I never had like really bad acne, but like my forehead definitely used to break out. And if you watch any of my old videos, like when I was first starting T, I would always like, get up really close to the camera and I would just have like a bunch of acne on my forehead. And I don't have that anymore. I used to be able to like touch my forehead and feel the oil and like you'd be able to see it, and that's not the case anymore. I mean, I have like a zit right here, but that's it. Like, that's it. What else? My vocal range, my singing range, I'm a singer, I've noticed has started to open up. I'm not going to say it's going back to necessarily what it was before, because I was a legit soprano, and I don't know that that's physically possible anymore, but basically I realized that my singing voice throughout the course of being on T is I lost an entire octave on the top and then I gained half an octave on the bottom. So while you're probably listening to this and you're like, oh my god, he sounds like a girl, well, T works differently on everyone. people. I've gotten a lot of negative and hateful comments throughout my entire transition of telling me that I don't look and sound like a girl. And to be honest, that really used to bother me. I mean, I didn't cry about it or anything, but it really upset me because, like, I'm sure if you're trans and you're watching this video, you know what it feels like to be misgendered and not have your identity validated. And that happened to me for the whole 2 years on T. I would pass, like, occasionally, but, like, not really. But another really big change that I've noticed, like, within, I want to say, like, the past month or even really past weeks, is that I have been able to to cry more. For the whole 2 years that I was on T, I felt that all of my emotions were suppressed, and I was quick to be angry. That was, like, the main emotion that I felt. If something really upsetting or even, like, traumatic happened to me, I wouldn't be able to cry about it. You know what I mean? Like, anniversaries of, like, people's deaths, like, that was, like, the main exception that I would be able to cry. But even then, like, it would be really difficult. And I've just been through a lot of stress lately because I'm in the process of moving and my landlord is transphobic and just a lot of shit like that. But I've noticed that I've been able to cry a little bit about these situations. Now, I'm not saying I'm back on the level that I was before I ever started hormones, where I was basically crying about every little thing, but it's easier for me to cry now. Now, the things that haven't changed is my facial hair is still there. When I present as female, I definitely, like, shave it off. You probably can't see very well, but I have, like, a slight mustache, and then I have this awkward hair there that I don't really like. So my facial hair hasn't stopped growing or anything. My stomach hair is still there. Like, none of that has changed. I think my face has changed a little bit. I mean, I have a pretty chubby face these days, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I do look at myself of pictures at me even at, like, 6 months, and my face, my jaw was a lot more rounded. So if you're interested, I took meticulous notes, or I documented my transition very closely while I was on T, and even now, still that I'm off of it. I have a playlist on my channel of me making an update for the first year every single month of me being on T, talking about the changes that I experienced. I have a video of a timeline of me being on T and a picture progression, and then I also have a voice update video of me of my voice changing. And again, I know people are going to listen to this that don't know me and say that I have a really high voice. And yes, I do, but not compared to how it sounds before. So my speaking voice hasn't changed, but my vocal range is starting to open up. And I'm able to actually sing now. Back when I was on T, I want to say for the first definite 6 months, probably even year, maybe even year and a half, I wasn't really able to consistently sing. My voice would crack all over the place. It would kind of sound like I was dying. Like, it really didn't sound good. But now I'm actually able to fully sing through songs and not have my voice crack anymore. So that's a really cool change that I'm grateful for, as I'm an actor and a singer. So hooray. But besides that, I want to say those are the only changes. I'm not going to get into the details, so I'm going to hint at this for people that are in the trans community know what I'm talking about. As far as stuff down in the lower region, nothing has changed. Still the same size. That's what's going on. So yeah, I think that's it. That's all I can think of right now. Those are the main things. So just wanted to get that information out there, that there are some things that change, and then there are some things that don't change. So, yeah, I guess if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer. But really, I don't like putting in plugs, like, watch my videos on YouTube. But if you're curious about my transition and how it looked for me, because I don't think I have the typical transition. I mean, look at me, listen to my voice. I was on T for 2 years, and this is what I sound and look like. You know, that's not like the common narrative, and I've come a very long way in discovering my gender identity and becoming comfortable with who I am. So if you're curious about my journey, or even just want to see the changes that happen month to month of me being on T, feel free to look at my videos. I'm not saying like subscribe, because like I don't give a shit. Like if you subscribe, I really don't care. My goal on being on YouTube is trying to spread awareness and knowledge about being trans and transitioning and all that good stuff. So thanks so much for watching, you guys, and I hope you have a really amazing day.